I say this so sincerely. The first two episodes are fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I think fans are going to love it. Um, so,
First off, it means a lot, especially a lot coming from you. Thank you for watching it, and thank you for the kind words. With something at that scale, it was huge. But anyways, then we did that, and we were really proud of the work we did.
Fucking hell.
Hello and welcome back if you've been here before. I wasn't planning on doing a review for Born Again, but after watching episode 4, I just had to throw my 2 cents in as well. So let's just get everything out of the way here in the beginning. The show absolutely sucks from beginning to end. We'll go over it in its entirety, but I did give the show a chance, but episode 4 was the nail in the coffin, and watching the rest of the episodes didn't change my mind. Now you saw a snippet of the directors/writers interviewed by the paid shill. In regards to the paid shill, I'll let Ferris Bueller put him into perspective.
Because you can't respect somebody who kisses your ass. Just doesn't work.
Just a talking head to let these Nepo babies spew whatever they want to say. And what do they say? How can you not feel the heaves to puke your guts out listening to these fuckheads suck each other's dicks? And for proof, what past projects do they cite as positive and successful projects? Moon Knight. Moon Knight? What else did they do? Do you see anything that is worthy of note? From my view, all signs point that these pretentious douchebags are Nepo babies. But for this review, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and judge the show with a clean slate. So let's begin the review. We'll go through the entire season, but we'll only go through scenes and story choices that need to be highlighted. First, let's start with the title, Born Again. Is this Frank Miller's Born Again storyline from the comic? No, it's not. It's Born Again in name only, meaning Kevin Feige took all of the goodwill of Frank Miller's Daredevil run and the Born Again storyline to promote this show while having very little, if anything at all, to do with it. I don't know about you, but as Brad Pitt would say,
That's fucked up.
the show starts with Matt, Foggy, and Karen all back together, gonna hang out at a local bar. Apparently, it's also a favorite destination for cops and DAs as well. Is that contrived? Yes, it is. But it's a small contrivance, so I'll give it a pass. As Matt and Karen enjoy a merry chat inside the lively bar, Foggy gets a call and he takes it outside, which Matt eavesdrops in on with his acute hearing. Yes, Daredevil has heightened hearing, but apparently his ears also have built-in noise canceling where he can cancel out the din of the bar and the city in order to pinpoint in on a single conversation. So Foggy gets a call from a witness that he stashed in his apartment. Matt and Karen ask Foggy about it, and he tells him. While still on the phone, they hear gunshots ring out on the other end, and Matt leaves to investigate. Then we get our first glimpse of Daredevil. We get this scene with the backdrop of a stained glass cathedral church, then a little running and swinging on the rooftops. Before I get ahead of myself, I have not watched any Disney Daredevil related shows, not Echo or She-Hulk, only the little cameo he had in the Spider-Man movie. So this is the first time I'm seeing Daredevil since the Netflix version, and we aren't even 10 minutes into the show, and we could already see the downgrade in quality. But it's still early, and still plenty of time to right the ship, so the benefit of the doubt is still in play. However, look at this pretentious posing in front of the church. Matt heard gunshots just a few minutes ago, and Daredevil shows a sense of urgency by striking a pose because there's a cathedral behind him?
Get the fuck out of here.
And then the swinging and running on the rooftops. It looks like the volume set, and as usual, the volume set looks fake and cheap. I understand it's convenient and saves money, but you get what you pay for. Then while on the rooftops of a dense and urban city, Daredevil keys in on the conversation from Foggy's phone again. Not only does he hear the conversation, but at the same time, he hears the clicking of Bullseye adjusting his scope and the bolt slide of his rifle. So not only does Daredevil's ears have built-in noise cancellation, it also has directional hearing that is specific to the things he needs to hear in order to drive the narrative of what he needs to do. You might have said that the noise cancellation part was me nitpicking, and to some extent, I could agree with that. But to have specific directional hearing to the things he needs to hear while not knowing what the fuck he's even hearing is a blatant and shameless story contrivance. From a story perspective, how do you greenlight this shit? I understand there are deadlines that need to be met, and the execs hired talentless Nepo babies to write and direct the show. and they have an army of paid shills to gaslight the audience telling us how good and groundbreaking the show is. But anyone with an ounce of critical thought can see how contrived the story is. However, being that this is the beginning, the Nepo Babies are going to build their story on the basis of these story contrivances?
Fucking hell.
So Daredevil rushes back towards Foggy and Karen, and Foggy gets shot. After he gets shot, two off-duty cops rush out of the bar with pistols in hand, and they are promptly shot in the head, almost at the exact same time. As we know, Bullseye never misses, and took out both cops and both moving targets with headshots no less. So it begs the question, why the fuck didn't he shoot Foggy in the head too? Then Bullseye walks up to Karen pointing his gun at her, ready to shoot when Daredevil swings in at the nick of time to save her.
What the fuck is this?
If you wanted to kill Karen too, why did he cap her when he capped Foggy? How fucking contrived can this story get? Now, with hindsight, having watched the entire season already, what the fuck is Bullseye walking up to her in the first place? In episode 9, it's revealed that Vanessa contracted Bullseye to take out Foggy. He already capped him, and he could have given him a double tap from his location. And yet, here he is, walking up to Karen for no fucking reason whatsoever, other than the contrived reason to give Daredevil a heroic entrance and kick off a piss-poor fight scene.
God damn it, are you fucking with me?
That isn't shitty writing. That's fucking shitty writing by a pair of Nepo babies, greenlit by a bunch of fucking useless execs. And uh-oh, look at the clock. We're just getting started.
Shit.
Okay, let's break down the Disney Dollar Store hall fight. First, a clip from the original Netflix hall fight. This was a highlight of the first season, and it's well done. Now, a quick clip from the Dollar Store version. Do you see the difference? Yes, they're both fake oneers with stealth edits. I'm not concerned about that. What I care about is the Netflix version has a Steadicam, while the Dollar Store Disney version has a cameraman with Parkinson's. In general, I hate shaky cam. Being that this version is trying to copy the Netflix version, the one thing they should have been copied was the Steadicam filming, and the Nepo Babies managed to fuck that up. Now, let's get into the fight itself. Daredevil is fighting Bullseye, and apparently all the off-duty cops are either gone or incapacitated. Bullseye hurls throwing knives at Daredevil, and I guess he was aiming for his shoulder rather than his heart or his head because the story is obviously contrived. Finally, we see Cherry guiding the DA out of the bar, and then pulls his pistol, not to help Daredevil, but to cover Foggy lying on the ground like a dying sack of shit. Does he need covering? Him and Karen have been out there for the past fucking minute. If somebody was going to take a shot at them, they would have done it by now, right?
Yeah.
How the fuck has this guy been a cop if he can't prioritize a threat correctly? Then after he makes a call to HQ, he goes back in with the Asian cop that we'll later see in episode 5, assisting other patrons out with Daredevil and Bullseye fighting right in front of them. Even with their pistols drawn, they might as well have just been holding their dicks as they were completely useless. When finally our view is obscured and a pair of sliding doors are closed in front of us. Contrived?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Then Bullseye's thrown, breaking down the doors and falling on a cop, knocking him out. So with Bullseye lying on the ground, the other bystanders just stand there holding their dicks too, rather than running out of the bar.
Are you fucking joking?
Isn't there a single fucking writer with an ounce of common sense?
No.
God damn it!
So Bullseye gets back on his feet and takes out the bystanders, forcing Daredevil to come to their aid. He stumbles into some back stairwell and kills another bystander while ascending the stairs. Then Daredevil limps in, hitting the light with his baton, activating the strobe light setting as they fight again.
Fucking hell.
As you can see, all of Bullseye's throwing knives have impaled Daredevil in non-lethal areas of his body. Granted, Daredevil did block or dodge some of them, but when Bullseye throws a non-lethal blunt object at him, it manages to hit him squarely in the head.
Fucking hell.
Eventually, Bullseye makes his way all the way up to the rooftop when Daredevil emerges, not from the same stairwell, but from swinging up from outside of the building. So instead of just following a dazed and stumbling Bullseye, Daredevil exits the building a different way and swings up while also being winded and injured.
Stupid!
So they fight again, and with multiple throwing knives in Daredevil's left shoulder region and a knife in one of his legs. None of these sharp foreign objects impairs his range of motion or the ability to use his extremities in any way. Now you have to admit the story is fucking contrived now, right?
Fucking hell, it is.
Finally incapacitating Bullseye, Daredevil hears Foggy's heart stop. In his anger and grief, he pushes Bullseye off the roof.
What?
Daredevil, the devout Catholic, and a hero that has a no-kill policy like Batman, pushes Bullseye off the roof.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Granted, I haven't read Daredevil in years. If his character has been changed, I didn't know about it. And if they did, they changed it for the worse. If his character isn't changed in the comics, then the Nepo Babies just changed it.
Absolute cunt.
Then Matt takes off the Daredevil mask and throws it off the roof, and the opening credits roll. So that is our setup. Foggy is killed, Matt retires Daredevil, and 1 year passes. The action was shitty and poorly done, and this is the basis of the entire season? How do you think the show is going to be when we've already had to endure multiple story contrivances within the first 10 minutes?
This is shit, but hey.
Now, I'll summarize the rest of the episode. Kingpin is running for mayor of New York. Matt opens a law firm with the ex-DA. During Kingpin's absence, Vanessa was running the operations in his place. Not only was she running the operations, but it has become more profitable and more organized with every single white male mob boss, not just being respectful, but being deferential to her.
Fucking hell.
So right out of the gate, we know that Girl Boss mode is active and will be left on for the whole show.
What else is new?
Now, this is still Disney. Kevin Feige is still in control of Marvel. He installed a pair of company men to be showrunners, and we get more of the same shit D+ has been churning out for the past few years. You're right, I should have expected this coming into the show, but I do admit I was naively optimistic. Anyway, Bullseye is sentenced, and he gets life. Not the death penalty, because this is New York City after all.
Shit.
We find out Karen left for San Francisco. From one hellhole ruined by Democrats to another one on the West Coast. I guess she wanted to get away from Matt while still feeling at home.
San Francisco cocksucker.
Matt's new partner sets him up and her friend on a blind date. They meet, and she's a shrink. Doing some armchair psychiatry? Why she isn't seeing one herself makes no sense. Based off the way she's portrayed, it's as clear as an azure sky she has insecurity issues and is constantly trying to prove herself. Tony Soprano's shrink saw a psychiatrist, but that was a good show. Given all the guilt-ridden baggage Matt is still carrying from Foggy's death, why he would be interested in going out with her and taking on more baggage makes zero sense. She's an absolutely shitty, unrealistic fucking character, but the fucking show needed girl bosses. On top of all this, we get these BB Uric transitions. Obviously, these are supposed to give us what the city feels in regards to vigilantism or Kingpin's mayoral run. But given real-life media, we know this is just slanted propaganda. Being that her dad was Ben Urich, obviously we know what slant she has, and being that this is a Disney show, and BB being a POC and a female, it means she's automatically a girl boss and can do no wrong.
Fucking hell.
Then finally, we get to the supposedly best scene in the episode. What I would refer to as the dollar store version of Heat. We've all seen Pacino meet De Niro for the first time. Cop versus villain. Mutual respect given to each, which leads to mutual dick-measuring threats to one another. Unlike Heat, we don't get any tension. We don't learn anything new from the characters. We do get some backstory from previous Disney shows, but who the fuck cares? Then after a final threat to each other, they part ways. Matt gains no new info, and Kingpin didn't care about Matt before the meeting and doesn't care about him after. An absolutely pointless meeting that doesn't advance the story at all. And this was the highlight of the episode?
This is shit, but hey.
Now, fast forward to election day. Matt and his new girlfriend are walking home when Matt overhears that Kingpin won the election. Out on the street, there isn't any rioting, but rather celebrations. What does that mean? Obviously, it means Kingpin is a Democrat.
So fucking funny.
And so ends episode 1. So here are the things that happen. Matt is guilt-ridden by Foggy's death, and he's given up being Daredevil. Karen is gone. Vanessa was acting Kingpin and did a better job than the Kingpin himself. And the Kingpin is now mayor of New York. That's the story completely set up. Now, episode 2. Kingpin is now mayor of New York, and Hector Ayala, aka White Tiger, is arrested for the death of a corrupt undercover cop.
Cholo.
That is our opening of the episode. Now, I don't live in New York, but what are the chances that a subway station is going to be completely empty? Not a single homeless person in sight. Contrived? Of course. But again, I'll give the Nepo babies the benefit of the doubt. Now Matt's at a police station, and he blows off his current client because he hears cops demanding a forced confession from Hector. That's right, he blows off his current client to help another person in another situation that doesn't concern him or his firm and knowing fuck all about the situation. You know, Matt is the hero of the show, the guy we're supposed to like and root for, and he basically tells his client to piss off.
What an asshole, man. That's a shame.
Again, because he has specific hearing that aids him in the story's progression, it is the right thing for him to do. So no harm, no foul, right? So he goes in and introduces himself. He gets the skinny on what happened and obviously knows Hector is telling the truth and takes up his case pro bono. At the arraignment, of course the DA is a white male. Hector is denied bail and the judge doesn't even allow any arguments from the defense. It makes no sense logically or legally, so clearly now you can see the story's contrived and shameless about it.
Okay, now it is.
Over with Heather, Matt's new girlfriend, we get the first appearance of Muse, who is clearly a young, mentally unstable white male. At Hector's apartment, Cherry looks around for anything of note and finds the White Tiger costume.
Fucking hell.
How easy was that? Then in the judge's chamber, Matt argues that Hector being White Tiger should be inadmissible in the court's proceedings. Matt even goes as far as to tell the judge what his job is. Seriously, Matt doesn't argue his case, but rather lectures the judge on his duties as a judge.
Are you fucking joking?
What does the judge do? He doesn't tell the counselor not to tell him how to do his job, but acquiesces and agrees with Matt. Fucking hell, contrived much?
This is some fucked up, repugnant shit.
So Matt tails the corrupt cop, eavesdropping in on his conversations. In the meantime, Kingpin and Vanessa go see Matt's girlfriend for marriage counseling.
Get the fuck out of here.
This is so stupid and just furthers the emasculation of Kingpin. An alpha that makes decisive decisions on a daily basis. A my way or the highway type of guy. And he's going to go to marriage counseling to fix his relationship? That's something the character would never do. It makes no sense whatsoever. Then add on the convenience that it's also Matt's new girlfriend, and the story contrivance is as glaring as a sheet metal in the sun.
Fucking hell.
Now, add on to the fact, having seen the entire season already, the marriage counseling is completely pointless. The only reason why these scenes are here is to add some division to Heather and Matt's relationship, which is another story contrivance on its own. So we got a story contrivance added onto another story contrivance that does nothing to move the story. All of this is bullshit filler.
It's a complete crap.
Finally, Matt hears they found the CI they were looking for, and Matt hurries to get there first. He tells them he's the witness he needs to save White Tiger, and the cops are on their way to kill him. Hearing the bad cops approaching, he tells them to run out of the fire escape, and he confronts the cops to run cover. Not giving them any info, we get a short fight scene, shifted to hell with shaky cam again.
This is shit, but hey.
And that ends episode 2. Remember, the first 2 episodes were released as one, so this was the ending we were left hanging with. Matt getting angry left us with the anticipation that Daredevil's next appearance was just around the corner. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So story-wise, what has happened? Mayor Kingpin encountering governmental bureaucracy and going to marriage counseling, and Matt taking up White Tiger's case. So of the 2 episodes, we got about 15% of real Daredevil. That's weak, but it's still early, and the Nepo babies still get the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the show will be Daredevil heavy in the end. Looking back with hindsight, we did get more, but the quality was definitely lacking. Now, episode 3. Kingpin's story is more of the same. Banal mayoral shit and more marriage counseling. The majority of the episode is a courtroom drama, and a bad one at that. A major point of drama is just getting the witness to the courtroom to testify. We have to sit through a Keystone Cops sequence to end up with the witness arriving and testifying. Pointless drama for pointless drama's sake.
Don't waste my motherfucking time.
Then when he testifies, Matt can't get him to say what he was there to testify about. What the fuck kind of lawyer doesn't vet his own witness? What the fuck is Matt consoling Hector in his cell when he should have been figuring out what the cops wanted from the CI at the subway station and if they're still holding anything over him?
What the fuck is this?
Every lawyer only asks questions that they already know the answer to. That's basic lawyering 101, isn't it?
Yeah.
So far, they fucked up Daredevil. And right here, they just fucked up Matt Murdock, attorney at law, by explicitly showing how ill-prepared he is at doing his job.
Stupid!
Conferring with his partners, Matt says the only option left is to put Hector on the stand. So they do it. And then Matt reveals Hector as the White Tiger.
Fucking hell.
Again, I didn't see any Disney-related Daredevil projects, but I heard it sucked, and based off of some of the things I've seen, I have no reason to question that opinion. Now, watching this show, it's 100% clear. Disney completely fucked up Matt Murdock. What the fuck kind of lawyering is this? Did these fucking Nepo baby writers consult any real lawyers in regards to this show? I'm no lawyer, but I know enough from watching other law shows that there's a discovery phase and both sides must introduce their evidence to each other. Meaning, there's no way the corrupt cop is going to be surprised when Matt brings up the name of the CI, Nicky Torres. Matt already argued in the judge's chamber to not bring up anything related to White Tiger, and yet he does so, without even informing his own witness or his partners? What the fuck?
This is shit, but hey.
Now that the deed has been done, what does the judge do? Does he admonish Matt and find him in contempt of court? No. What about a mistrial? No. Instead, the judge just says, let's just continue on.
Get the fuck out of here.
And then we get one of BB's propaganda transitions with some guy saying that White Tiger ain't gonna get a fair trial because he's Puerto Rican. Fucking bigoted, Butch? And these are the people we're supposed to side with?
Melvin, did you hear what Lamont said?
He said the guy that moved next door is Puerto Rican.
That's it. That's it. There goes the neighborhood.
As the trial continues, Matt calls a bunch of character witnesses that had positive encounters with the White Tiger.
Cholo.
Character witnesses are useful to an extent, but even a choir boy with straight A's can commit murder. And do we get to see any cross-examination from the DA? No. Do you know why? Because the show is contrived and only wants to present one side of the narrative. And when the verdict comes in, White Tiger is found not guilty on all 3 counts, including manslaughter.
What the hell?
Okay, the trial was portrayed so shitty in regards to not just the law, but to basic common sense. The outcome is completely contrived, making these jurors dumber than the O.J. Simpson jurors.
Fucking hell.
But whatever. Let's move on. We shouldn't dwell on it because we know the cops are corrupt and the Puerto Rican is a good guy.
Ah, gracias, negro.
What'd you call him?
Then Kingpin, speaking to BB, tells her the verdict was a miscarriage of justice. And BB says, the court and the jury found him not guilty. As if the court and juries are never wrong. How fucking stupid or naive is she?
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Then White Tiger puts on his costume and goes out, I assume to do vigilante justice.
Well, I think I'll go down the street and get myself some ice cream.
When he's capped in the head by a guy wearing a Punisher logo on his chest. And that ends episode 3.
This is shit, but hey.
Was that a good episode? One of the shittiest courtroom drama episodes ever? Matt Murdock doesn't do the basics a lawyer would do, and still wins the case due to a contrived verdict. This is a damning knock on his character. And the Kingpin storyline is not only tedious and dull, but moves at a snail's pace. And now we come to the 4th episode. Like any show with 12 episodes or less, it's the 4th episode that will decide if the show is worth anything or not. The prior 3 episodes are enough to introduce your characters and set up the story. This is the episode where the main story should be the driving factor of interest. If you read my X post, it's because of this episode is why I'm doing this review. If the first 2 episodes are average, and they were at best, it would be grading them as a 5 out of 10. Obviously, the 3rd episode was worse than the previous 2, so it's like a 4. And if it's a 4, then the 4th episode doesn't really have a high bar to clear to have the show trend upward again. And yet, it doesn't. So let's get into it. White Tiger is dead, and Matt is talking to the medical examiner as to the cause of death. Then the niece walks into a restricted area asking to see her uncle. Remember, White Tiger just had his autopsy. How the fuck did this little girl get into the morgue? And again, instead of her being portrayed as sympathetic and grief stricken from her uncle's death, she has to be portrayed as a girl boss, all tough and bitchy. Do you think that makes the audience sympathetic to her situation or annoyed by her bratty attitude and actions? Fucking hell, Nepo babies! It's only fucking obvious! And the show is building the narrative of the innocent POCs being harassed by corrupt cops. And if you remember BB's transition of the bigoted citizen saying White Tiger couldn't get a fair trial because he's Puerto Rican, you can see the Nepo baby writers are propagating a perpetual cycle of victimhood while justifying their own bigotry and racism.
Well, then maybe, Mr. Sanford, you got something against Puerto Ricans, huh? Now you got it.
Just when I thought we were getting out of this woke bullshit, this show pulls me back in.
It's a complete crap.
Then we see Muse claim a victim and take him into a subway tunnel. That is the only glimpse of Muse for the rest of the episode.
Fucking hell, it is.
Instead of developing this villain from the comic book, we get introduced to Leroy, a nobody common POC being arrested for petty theft. Given what we see in the real world, with degenerates doing smash and grabs in broad daylight without any repercussions whatsoever, and stores having to lock up insignificant items like deodorant and shampoo, we know we aren't watching a show that is a representation of reality, but also another blatant story contrivance to drive this bullshit narrative that the patriarchy has it out for everyday POCs in the country.
Fuck that shit!
So it just happens that this guy, Leroy, is going to be defended by Matt, pro bono. After I assume Matt reading the case, he meets Leroy in jail and tells him the facts of his case. He stole boxes of fiddle fowl from a bodega. They have him on surveillance camera doing it, and the store clerk will testify that he stole it. But Leroy says he didn't do it. Gaslight much, Leroy? Leroy says he didn't steal it because he already bought it a week ago.
What the fuck does that mean?
The show gives us fuck all in the explanation of it as well. Obviously, Matt knows he's telling the truth. Yet with no explanation and the evidence against him, how the hell is he going to prove his innocence? Nevertheless, Leroy will not take a plea and demands Matt get him nothing less than probation.
Get the fuck out of here.
Regardless of the truth, Matt summarizes his rap sheet that has 20 to 25 prior offenses. In reality, the only plausible way Matt can get him off with only probation is if he bribes the DA and the judge on the case, which he won't do. So Leroy ingratefully tells Matt to do his job and get him probation, even though Matt has nothing to do with the 20 to 25 prior offenses he committed.
What an asshole, man.
So Matt goes to see the DA to negotiate, and I have to play this exchange.
How about you remind your client that the whole point of deterrence is that
discredited penal philosophy, by the way, but okay.
You've heard that. Incarceration as a deterrent for crime is a discredited penal philosophy. Do you believe that? Maybe it's true. Or maybe the punishment isn't harsh enough to deter the crime in the first place. Instead of filling our jail cells with petty thieves, maybe society ought to change the deterrent to something else like a public caning session. Let the public see what happens when you get caught. That would deter some kids, wouldn't it?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Anyway, I digress. So Matt flirts with the DA and manages to get her to come down to 10 days in jail. Matt asks for 15 days, including time served, and the DA undercuts him?
In heaven's name, why?
That makes no fucking sense. So Matt tells Leroy what he got for him, and then Leroy bitches his sob story. Once again, he's the fucking victim being screwed over by the system. He has a rap sheet that has 20 to 25 offenses on it. Whose fault was that, pray tell? And does Matt tell him to shut the fuck up, to own up to the shit he's done? No, he just sits there holding his dick, letting Leroy bitch and moan at how much of a victim he is. Now let me have Al give the proper response to this.
Okay, fuck you. How's that?
This entire Leroy segment is completely pointless to the story, nor does it build any character that hasn't already been established. It's simply inserted in as a fucking filler while propagating this blatant bullshit narrative of PLC victimhood. Fuck off with that shit. Get a fucking job, you fucking degenerate. Then maybe you'd be able to buy a box of Fiddle Faddle.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Now that we got that pointless bullshit out of the way, we can move on to the fan service part of this episode. Matt and Frank's reunion chat. The reason why Matt goes to talk to Frank is because he found the shell casing that was used to kill White Tiger. How, you ask? By rolling an empty bottle down the street he was killed at. Hearing it roll into a storm drain, Matt reaches inside and pulls it out. That's it!
Fucking hell.
And because the killer marks all of his shell casings with a Punisher logo, he goes to Frank to ask him about it. What kind of assassin puts identifying evidence on his shell casings? Of course, Frank doesn't know anything about it. Why would he? And of course, Matt should know he's telling the truth immediately, but this time he questions if Frank is being truthful so that he can have a spat for the sake of having a spat. Such fucking contrived bullshit that leads them to psychoanalyze each other until Matt finally leaves. And what is the result of their meeting? Frank has nothing to do with the shell casing, which we already knew because we know the type of people the Punisher kills, and Matt should have came to the same conclusion as well. Thus, the meeting was completely pointless and was fan service filler.
What the fuck is this?
In regards to Kingpin, there is the port of Red Hook that he wants to revitalize, and we do learn that Vanessa had an affair during Kingpin's absence. And we end the episode seeing Kingpin has him locked up in a cell. And so ends episode 4. What did we get? Fucking Leroy.
God damn it!
Port Red Hook, which is more banal bureaucracy.
I don't care.
And Vanessa's affair with Adam.
See, nobody cares.
Now, look at Adam. Long hair and beard. Meaning, Kingpin has him in captivity for some time now, right? But look at his physique. Does he look malnourished at all?
No.
It looks like he's getting 3 square meals a day, including an afternoon snack and probably a nightcap before bed. Does he show any loss of spirit? No, he doesn't. He still whines without an ounce of despair in his voice. This show has the gall to lecture us, the audience, about a bullshit narrative of POC victimhood, corrupt cops, piss-poor lawyering, and finally, an alpha male mob boss turned tuck.
Fuck that shit!
4 episodes in, and the show hasn't given us anything remotely of a compelling story. It's all bullshit. Little vignettes stitched together with thin overarching storyline. And that was my Popeye moment.
That's all I can stand. I can't stand no more.
If the Nepo Babies can't establish a compelling story within 4 episodes, then there isn't one to be found. How the fuck can anybody give these Nepo Babies the benefit of the doubt after giving us practically nothing within 4 episodes? And look at the time. I'm only 4 episodes in, and I've run way over my anticipated runtime. I'll have to finish the rest in part 2. So as always, thank you for watching, and until then.
Fuck that shit! Fuck it!
This is shit, but hey.
Fucking hell, it is.